Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama. Welcome to the next episode of our Teen Titans themed Spotlight series.
Up next, we're going to season 2 of the show.
Now this season partially focuses on a new hero named Terra, who has the power to control the earth, or basically earthbend, and the return of Slade, who's looking for a new apprentice. Now on the side, we have our usual standalone episodes that vary from silly and fun to dark and serious.
Yes, especially with Terra involved. Because if you know, we won't go into great detail. Terra and Slade have pretty much been a bit of a controversy in the comics with their kind of sort of relationship. And it kind of got very dark for what happened to her and to Slade, to a point where it's like, you just should not be in a comic.
Right.
Luckily, they didn't go to that length in the cartoon because there was no way they could. Yeah, there's no way they could go that dark. They just went to a point where you knew under the control, and then that was as far as they went, which is a great idea because I think they would have really been in trouble if they had gone that far.
Right.
Now, season 2 still focuses on Terra, who's this brand new superhero introduced to the team, and Beast Boy eventually starts liking her.
Yes.
And her problem is that she can't control her powers all the time. Like, if he's under stress or pressure, her powers will get a little bit out of control, and then things might go wrong. So that was part of the story where they meet her one episode, then she comes back a little later, and she thinks she's in control now.
And what's the name of the episode we're introduced to?
It's called Terra. Then she returns in Titan Rising and becomes part of the team. Then her loyalty is tested in Betray, which I guess is a spoiler in itself in the title.
Betrayal.
Yeah, that's a spoiler right there.
Right.
And then with Aftershock parts 1 and 2.
Which we'll get to. Yeah, so Terra was actually a nice addition. You liked her. You really did like her. You could tell that she was insecure, unsure of herself, and Beast Boy was still growing. So he understood, how she felt, and he immediately had empathy for her because he knew, I'm still growing. This is how I feel. I can understand. It's okay. They're going to love you. We all love you. Beast Boy was the perfect pairing to be her friend.
Right.
So it was really, really a good move for them to, add her and then have her be not a mentor, but be the friend that she needed.
Right. And also with the threat of Slade coming, and each time she made an appearance, it's almost as if Slade was right there watching.
Right.
Which was like really creepy. Except for Titan Rising, it's like he knew what was going to go on.
Right.
Like he's going to win at some point. She pretty much just had no issues whatsoever with them. Now, before we get into the rest of the Terra arc, we should talk about the episode that came on the side. One in particular is the very first one, which has become one of the most iconic episodes of the show and emotional.
Yes.
How Long is Forever.
Right. And that episode began with, I don't remember the name of the villain, but he had a clock. Kronos. And Kronos took a clock.
Oh, I'm sorry, Warp. I'm sorry. I'm
so thinking of Supernatural.
Yeah.
The Kronos.
Warp.
Warp had this clock that could control time. And when he went through a rift, Starfire ran in behind him. And then she got to see actually what the future would be without her being with the Titans, like it never existed.
Right. So almost like a superhero version of It's a Wonderful Life, plus a shout out to Justice League where the Flash was taken out and the whole team in the world was different without him on it. It showed that the Teen Titans disbanded after she disappeared, and I guess maybe they felt guilty or angry at each other for letting it happen.
Right.
And they all went their separate ways. And they went like almost 20 years into the future.
Right.
And it was really a dark place. It was really just a literal cold and dark as it was snowing at night. I'm just going to put it right there. It was a cold and dark place without her there and helping with the team, which showed how much they relied on each other.
And how much they needed that bright, cheery part of her there. What it was saying is that, each team member has their role. And yeah, she could, fly, and she had these alien powers, but she was always the bright spark for the team. She was always the one who tried to make them be friends together. Remember in the beginning, she wanted them to taste some dish she had made from her planet, and she wanted to read a poem, and they didn't want to do it, and they were so busy being in their own world before they actually went out to fight him.
Right.
They didn't want to do what she wanted to do. So you saw the importance of Starfire's kindness, joyfulness and everything, keeping the team human and together. That was her main role, you learned.
And the saddest part, if you think about it, when Robin said, they said, this is just roommate stuff. It's nothing serious.
Exactly.
And they said, we'll never split apart, I promise. And then 20 years later, you get this future.
Because of her going into the rift after the villain.
Yeah. And you see a Cyborg is stuck in the tower because he can't leave or else he'll be shut down.
Because he can't recharge.
Right.
And you don't know what happened to electricity.
Right. It's just gone. Yeah, like, did someone steal the power or something? Beast Boy was stuck being this sort of freak show with just the guy that's turning into animals for money.
He was in a cage at a circus.
Right. And he looked like he was balding and overweight. Of course they did that.
And he looked so sad.
Yeah.
But he was just like, okay, I've got nowhere else to go. I'll stay and do it.
Right. Raven pretty much broke. She was stuck in solitude by herself, and she really just couldn't do anything to help her.
And but here was the thing. That was, kind of was confusing. She was white. She was an all white, and white is the highest level of power. Mm-hmm. So that means she could do anything. She had graduated to that level where she could do any type of spell. But she was in a padded cell.
Right. And I think it was because it explained that her powers are generated by emotions. I think she was just like so distraught and sad over, the friends and just leaving that the powers were like at full throttle.
Right.
And that's why with the white cloak, she couldn't go anywhere, do anything, because anything would cause disaster because of her powers. So she stayed there where she couldn't hurt anybody.
Right. And then, of course, Robin became Nightwing.
Of course, he got the best outcome of everybody, as it looks like.
And they kind of made him look like Aqualad.
Yeah. And then he finds out what happened to her when he finds her, and then it said they need to stop warp so this won't happen again, or this will change the future.
Right.
And he has the little badge that we don't know if it'll work, but we can always try. And you see they still got all of their alert systems that notify each team member when there's trouble.
It looked like the badges from Ben 10.
Yeah, and then when they get to fight Warp, and it looks like it's just gonna be two of them, then you see all of them came back for each other.
Right?
Yeah,
because they didn't want it to be this way, and they knew by helping her, it would turn out differently.
Right. And I think this, and then eventually, everything is back to normal, and she tells them what happened, and they were like, whoa, they don't want this to happen, it's not going to happen, right? Is that only if they let it.
Right.
So this was kind of like a lesson, not just for them, but for the audience, is like how much one person can make a difference in lives, and it's just in the world itself.
And also in things that people take for granted and said they weren't important. Well, in the grand scheme of things, being with your family, enjoying your friends, enjoying life are important.
Right.
And work and school and all these other things are things that you have to do, but you got to remember taking time for people, making time for people, and enjoying your life is really, really important. And what better way to do it than with people that you have your team with or your tribe with or and that's important.
And that's why they end up celebrating the holiday there. They say we still have time for that little friendship holiday thing.
Right.
But this, and they got quite a few episodes in here that were pretty good as well.
How about Fractured?
Oh, okay, this was a really super fun one. Where Robin broke his arm trying to chase Johnny Rancid. And he's got to stay home, and he can't, work. He's so anxious, like, to get back out there and capture him. He's like, no, we'll take care of this. You got to rest. And then suddenly he has this, like, throbbing thing in his forehead. And they're like, what's wrong with him? And then this giant blob pops out of his forehead. It's a little mini anime version of him named Larry. He's supposed to be Robin from another universe who's like a chibi, silly version of him. And they were like, what the bleep is this?
Right.
And he said, yeah, this is you. And he said, we're DNA buddies. Yay! He's like, you gotta be kidding me. He was just such the polar opposite of him. And he said, well, Robin's gonna be kind of confusing, especially his real name, Nazir Yakin, who's actually Dick Grayson in reverse.
Right.
And he said, why don't I just call you Larry? Oh, my name is Larry now. And he could use his finger. He could like bend reality with the touch of his finger. And it ends up, causing all this craziness to happen. He kind of breaks the world and makes it all kid-like and imaginary because, he and Mom got in a fight and he broke his finger. Oh, man, that was a really fun one.
And one more fun one before we get to Aftershock 1 and 2. Every dog has his day.
Oh, yeah, that was a Beast Boy-focused episode where he thought, like, no one wanted to hang out with him because he was trying, like, oh, we could do this, we could do that. Like, nah, I'm busy with this, so they didn't want him around.
And that immediately followed
How Long Is Forever. Yeah.
So they still were trying to get the point across about the importance of friendship, teamwork, and so forth.
Right. And, he went out on the city. He was trying to hit on girls. That didn't work. He turned into a little dog, so they would pet him, but they thought he was gross because he was green.
Right.
And they're like, oh. And then eventually he runs into this other green dog, which turned out is a pet alien of this giant rock creature. And he keeps thinking that Beast Boy is the dog and he's in disguise or something. Oh no, you're better than Soto's dog. Soto keeps you forever. And the Titans find his dog and they keep thinking it's Beast Boy and he won't turn back or he's playing games and it's like, okay, change back. Change back. He said, why won't you change back? Why won't you talk? And all he's doing is like leaving them on and licking Raven's face and just sitting on the wild goose chase. And they see him do this thing with his tongue and he shapeshifts. They're like, okay, that's not Beast Boy. Right. And they end up having to find out where he is and get him back.
So that, like you said, that was a great episode. Again, with the same lesson as the first episode of the season. So now we've talked about Terra and the other two episodes, Terra and the other two episodes she was in. Let's get to Aftershock 1 and 2 to finish it off.
Right. Okay, so it focuses after what happened in Betrayal, where it turns out Terra was actually taking lessons from Slade on how to control her powers, which she did, but she still wanted to be a hero. And then when it came to paying back the favor, to work for him, she didn't want to do it, and he ended up kind of haunting them and tracking them down everywhere they went. And when Beast Boy said, he's right, you don't have any friends, that's when she finally turned to the dark side and worked with Slade as his new apprentice. Then Aftershock comes in where she helps him take over the city. And it works. It's not just there's a threat of it coming. He does it. He takes over that city and his minions are everywhere. The sky is bleak once again. And it becomes a search of to take down these minions and take down Terra now. Because in the first part, they were trying to reason with her because of Beast Boy. It's we'll try. We'll give her one more chance. If she doesn't, we need to take her down. And then she had made it clear, I think partially with the influence of Slade, that she didn't want to be helped. And it was just really cruel with each of them. And it's no more chances. She goes down now. Right. And it ended up becoming this one-on-one with Terra and Beast Boy. You always had a choice to do right. Why can't you just do it now? And eventually, with all this happening, she finally decides, with all the stuff that's happening to them in the city, she finally decides, I'm tired of working for you. And she can't because he had designed this suit to be literally attached to her. And he control her with his thoughts. It's shoot.
Yeah, Slade was not a joke.
Yeah, and then eventually she came to her fully reformed self when she sacrificed herself to save everyone because the lava would have flooded the entire city. And she was turned to stone so everything would be, covered and, the city would be saved. And
of course, they were all really sad. That she was stuck this way, and they were hoping that something one day would be able to get her out of the lava.
And people were thinking, did they forget about her? Because there were a lot of times when they're I don't think they ever found something because they never went back and never showed it. But this does come up later.
And I think, hopefully they were thinking of doing it in a future season. Like a season 6 or a season 7. Now, I do know in one of the new movies that came out, there's a darker version.
Yeah, it was called The Judas Contract, which is supposed to be a sequel to the Tokyo movie that they have, and it was supposed to be toned down, but they ended up shelving it. But when they got to do it and do that PG-13 R rating, they kind of stuck to the comics and it got very grim, and it's no, don't let your kids.
Connection to
the
Teen Titan series.
Don't let your kids watch that one. That one doesn't play around at all. So
this was a great season, full of, as you said, more darker episodes than the lighter ones. But we learned more about the team. We learned more about a new member, Terra, and we learned just how friggin' horrible is another way to put it, Slade is.
Right.
And that he has no regard for human life or for even any of the lives of these teens.
Right.
So, thank goodness, season 3 had some more lighter episodes.
Yeah, that is true. With, of course, a new focus and a lot more lighthearted episodes.
And we had one special, unfortunately, only one special feature.
Yeah, it's called
this
Catching Up with the Teen Titan-and Slade Season 2, where they pretty much give you a rundown of what's to come this season, who to expect, without giving away too many spoilers, just like new villains, new stories. Oh yeah, find out what happens in this episode, and then that's pretty much it.
Right. So, thanks for joining us for Season 2. We'll see you tomorrow for Season 3 of Teen Titans, the animated series.
I'm Mask Entertainment.
And I'm Mama Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
Teen Titans. 1, 2, 3, 4, go! Teen Titans.
And reporters sitting flashing lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. With her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket, give it to you later on in the form of a locket.